Excuse me. All right, any questions?
Well, Coach, a year ago this time you're kind of hands-off in bowl camp. What's it like to take your own team into a bowl camp?
No, it feels good to kind of be back in the flow. Been 2 seasons since I've been to a bowl game coaching, but we've utilized kind of the past 2 weeks for meetings, for developmental practices, and a little bit of Iowa preview, and then starting on Monday we'll be full steam ahead on Iowa game preparation.
When we talked to you in the West Health Conference, you had mentioned that at that point all the seen draftable guys had indicated they will play. Is that still holding?
Yes, sir. Yes.
When did those conversations occur?
It was some point in a couple of days after the Ole Miss game. Yeah, I can't pinpoint exactly the day, but it was somewhere in that time frame.
And how many guys did you talk to, and what were your kind of goals coming out of that conversation?
No, just to determine, if they were going to play in the game or not. I let the position coaches take care of it, and then they forwarded the information on to me, and it really wasn't much need for a follow-up conversation because they all said they were going to play. So that was certainly exciting, and I think a good testament to their commitment to our team and the program to finish this thing the right way.
With them playing, do you coach any differently? Them like give them less reps, something try and protect them in a game like this, or do you just kind of do what you would do in any other situation?
I think it's really based on the player. To be honest with you, I know John Abrams, a guy that you're going to need to walk out on the field and drag him off for him to skip a rep, and I think the D-line thing kind of takes care of itself because Coach Baker rotates guys throughout the course of the game, and I'm not sure there's been an instance this season where one guy's played over 40 or 50 plays, so that kind of takes care of itself. So just kind of go into it with a plan and then see how it goes on game day.
How does this plan approach the balance that bowl camp is always about developing future players but also getting ready for a game?
Yeah, I think kind of the standard in what we've done is to utilize. Last Thursday and Saturday we practiced, and that was a split between fundamentals and technique, and then developmental for the non-travel squad. And then today we introduced a little bit of Iowa, and it had some developmental stuff again for the younger guys. So next week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday we'll practice. About 3/4 of the practice will be devoted to Iowa, and the other quarter will be devoted to player development. So when you get these extra opportunities, particularly with the New Year's Day game, I think it's something that you're excited to take advantage of to get these guys some extra work prior to spring ball.
When you're facing a defense as talented as Iowa, how much are these extra weeks needful to kind of prepare for a defense that way?
Yeah, I feel fortunate because I've got 2 years of game planning for them. So, but it's the big thing about facing Iowa's defense is they on first and second down they don't do a ton of stuff, but they're tremendous. The sum is greater than the parts, I guess is a way to say it. They have a very sound scheme. They play with incredible physicality, and I think Coach Parker and his staff do a great job knowing how you're going to attack and then making in-game adjustments. And then on third down, they get a little bit more creative and in the goal line and red zone. But, more than anything, it's going to be, a physical game, one where you got to be great with fundamentals and technique and be ready for adjustments.
Bringing back Tony, Coach Hughes, what's he doing at bowl prep? Is he kind of everywhere?
Yeah, coaches, for bowl prep, just because we're not able to get them up to speed and teach them, some of the schemes prior to us playing the game. He's in more of an evaluation process, kind of like I was last year, and then he's involved with the recruiting, even though it's going to go dead here in a few days. So we just have him, getting around the guys, getting to see how we operate and what we do, and then be involved with recruiting.
Does he have a specific position assignment, or are you going to kind of wait and see what happens with the staff the rest of the year?
Yeah, I'm hoping nothing else happens with the staff, but like I said, we're going to allow them to evaluate, through the rest of practices, get them down to the bowl game, let the dust settle from there, and, Coach is kind of like a Swiss Army knife. He's, coached both sides of the ball, multiple positions, great teacher, great mentor, awesome with his fundamentals and techniques, and certainly his recruiting ability speaks for itself. So I'm confident wherever we end up, putting him in terms of position, he'll exceed our expectation.
Speaking of recruiting, does the early signing period make preparing for a bowl game any harder, or is that just business as usual?
I would say harder. It's really about time management, organization, and kind of compartmentalizing things where you're devoting some of your time during the day to game preparation and film review, and then the other part to making sure that everything's on point for the recruiting plan. So I wouldn't say more difficult, just you got to be a little more organized.
I know James Jackson moved over to offensive, a little while ago. How's he performed since he made that move?
A very exciting move, and we've been fortunate with our depth at that position. It's been a luxury that we were able to slide him over, and then towards the tail end of the year, it had been mostly individual stuff, fundamentals and techniques, and he went down and worked with the scout team, and then as we transitioned into Iowa preparation, now he's up working with our guys on Iowa prep. So a lot of athletic ability, very smart, and there's a long tradition of defensive linemen, moving over on the other side of the ball and having a lot of success. So hopefully he can continue along those lines.
Are any of the guys possibly being looked at, maybe looking at other positions or preparing them to play other things in spring, or just kind of exposing them to some ideas? I've kind of made the depth chart, or when I say we have made the depth charts, without the seniors on them, and kind of, looking at those things. But, certainly there's a lot of guys that have positional flexibility, and a lot of it will be need-based, and, that'll be something we'll address as we get closer to spring ball.
This is the end of the first year of the new red shirt rule, and in your opinion, how did it work for you?
I like it. All the guys will be green lighted for the bowl game, outside of Watt, who's played throughout the season, Marcus Murphy, and then Goodman. But all the other ones have played in 3 or less heading into the bowl game, and it doesn't mean that it's carte blanche that we're just going to go in and play them because they're able to. Those guys are going to have to earn their reps throughout the week. But to have the ability to put them in the last game of the year, try to get them in on some special teams and get a more valuable game experience. I like the new rule.
With finals over, is everything academically square for the team? Everybody available for the game?
Hope so. It was Miguel and his staff do a fantastic job with our team. Heading into finals, we had met and felt good about it. And we're going to meet on Thursday once all the grades are in and calculated and tabulated, and see where we're at. But everything was very positive heading into finals.
You brought up recruiting a couple of times. How do you feel about kind of the late momentum that it seems to be taking place?
Good. I love our plan. I love the effort that our staff is putting forth on the road. I think we made a lot of investment in creating relationships with the coaches, the prospects, and their parents. I think we have a lot to sell here at Mississippi State from a school and academic, an opportunity, and certainly a football standpoint. And I think the feedback that we're getting and the results in terms of commitments and things like that are in line with the effort that we're putting forth.
Y'all have rotated offensive linemen this year. That isn't all that common. How has Coach Johnson managed moving different guys in different combinations?
Yeah, the thing that I like the most with what Coach Johnson's doing is it really mirrors what we're doing from the defensive line. That you're getting a bunch of guys in there, the ability to keep people fresh, particularly at the latter stages of the game. But what he's talked about is playing people who have earned the right to be on the field, and I think that is a great motivator through the course of the week in practice, where if a guy comes out and he does a good job, and he's capable of performing against the opponent that he's going to play. Now, it's not always the case. You can't distribute playing time equally, but I think he's done a good job playing the guys who have earned the right during the week.
Is there any concern with communication or continuity with shuffling pieces, since it isn't common for that position?
No, I don't think so. Certainly, the interior 3 work together mostly, and then the guards and the tackles, they kind of have their own set of communication. So just making sure that the guys who are, either going to move into center or switch tackle positions, or getting reps with the guys who are going to be their adjacent counterpart, as it were. So, anytime, in that position where, an initial call has to be made and then an adjustment has to be given based on the front, those are things. But, we're fortunate heading into this one. We're, I think, 16 days out, and we're going to have, 4 practices next week and then a bunch down at the bowl site. So they'll continue to work on that.
I suppose Jeffrey's one, but have any of the juniors mentioned that they may be submitting their names for evaluation? I think the deadline is the 14th.
Yeah, we're still kind of talking that through with those guys. But Jeffrey's really the only one that we've kind of had major discussions with and kind of anticipating that answer, but he hasn't made any determination as of yet.
With the guys with the NFL draft buzz, does it almost come as a surprise, given the trend of college football these days, of guys with day 1, day 2 projections to play in a bowl game?
Yeah, I guess it's a relatively recent phenomenon. I mean, and it's
like I said, I don't want to speak for other teams or other programs or other players who are choosing not to play. I'm just excited that that our guys are in the mindset of finishing what we started this season, playing for each other, playing for the team, playing for Mississippi State, and looking to finish this thing the right way. So I don't know if there'll be more or less of it, but I'm just happy on our end that the guys have decided to play.